Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. Meow. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing Mars in Gemini for all 12 signs. We're going to fly through this. You're going to understand where you can expect this energy to be happening for you based on your unique birth chart. Now, a couple caveats. Number one, I'm reading whole sign astrology. So if you are looking at your chart with tropical Placidus, that's fine and dandy, but you're going to need to adjust the sign that I'm talking about based on the house that would then fall in if it were the same house under whole sign astrology. So for example, if you're a Taurus and your second house is all of Gemini, because that's what it is by whole sign, but you know that Mars is going to be entering at the second half of Mars's stay in Gemini, it's going to be entering your third house. You might be listening for your second house and your third house. And in that event, Taurus, you'd want to listen to the Taurus, but you'd also want to go back and listen to the Aries. You see what I'm saying? Because that would be the third house interpretation. That's what I wanted to tell you. Also, if you are looking to learn astrology once and for all for yourself, I am giving my gift of knowledge to you in my astrology course. If you're a serious student of astrology looking to really figure it out, I am doing enrollment right now for my round of astrology school. It is amazing. People have come out of this saying nothing but positive things about the experience, about the knowledge that they have. They have so much more skill and confidence now than they did when they started. They didn't know what they were doing when they started, and now they feel they are legitimate astrologers. So that's what I do. I am a capacity builder of astrology, and if you come basically apprentice with me over 6 months, then I'm going to help nurture your skill sets into greatness when it comes to astrology. So you can schedule a call with me down below if you want to talk more details about that and learn more about that experience and what it's like. So click on the link down below and schedule your call, because enrollment is already going. So it's going to be amazing, and we're only enrolling for like not even a couple months. So make sure that you are getting on the call if you want to be in the class, so that we have a spot for you and everything is situated if it turns out you're a serious student who wants that. Okay, cool. Now, with that said, all the subscribers, what up? Thanks for being here. If you're a newbie and you don't know what you're doing yet, welcome, join us. You can subscribe. Everybody, please hit the like button, because it helps this video get more views. It helps more people get this information for literally nothing, no money in exchange. So be sure to do that. Okay, so we're going to look at all 12 signs now, and I'm just going to start with Libra since it's already on the ascendant here. Libra, you're going to have this transit of Mars in your 9th house for the next 2 months, okay? So this is going to mean that you are more motivated in relationship to your schooling if you're in higher education, or if you're in spiritual environments that are like very spiritual in nature. Anything involving higher knowledge, whether it's academic, whether it's philosophical circles, whether it's any kind of spiritual circles that you sit in, or like circles about like other groups of people, like other cultures. A lot of Libras are going to be feeling really motivated in those areas of life over the next couple months. You're just going to want to dive into more philosophy. You're just going to want to dive into more big picture stuff, and you're going to want to see things in a way that speaks to your understanding of how the world works. You're really learning more about how you view the world and how to engage with others on how they view the world, Libra. That's kind of your spiritual to-do for the next 2 months. And because it's in Gemini, there's going to be a lot of talking in those circles. You're going to have a lot of social engagements in those circles. Lots of talking, lots of social engagements. Trust me, Libra. And it's all around those things for the next couple months. You're going to find that in your social circles, that is like the topic that keeps coming up too, is like philosophy, belief systems, other cultures. Like these are things that are going to be just like the volume dial turned way up for you. And if you are in school or you're thinking of going back to school, this might be a time where you're like, damn, you know what, I'm applying to go back to school, because the 9th house is like this activation house for higher education and higher knowledge. And that's just something to consider. Okay, so Libra, before you dip out of here, if you're interested in learning astrology once and for all, sugar pie, make sure you schedule a call with me so that we can talk details about that astrology school. Okay. So Scorpio, this transit for you, Scorpio, is going to be happening in your 8th house. And this is an interesting energy because, you know, it's the death house, and Scorpios, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You might find that you lose someone or something over the next couple months because of this malefic in the 8th house. It could definitely be something like that. And as a Scorpio, it's kind of like, what else is new? I could hear some of you saying, right? But also it's a psychological, it's your house, you know, so it's an opportunity for a psychological shift or a psychological revelation or some type of a tantric experience, wink wink, or some type of a deeply spiritual, yeah, experience as well. Because the 8th house is a house of you know, transforming from death, and it's an ending of something, and it's also an asset to something at the same time. So it has this association with debt, and it has this association with death and other people's money and belongings, and what you can't ultimately take with you, and what you do that is intangible. All of that kind of belongs and falls in the 8th house. So a lot of it can be severance related because it's an ending. It's not about you know, extreme drama necessarily, but it is about perhaps the end of a life. It could be something like that, or the end of a consciousness, because the death house is this. If you think of like cake, if you're making a cake from scratch, all the ingredients are there and they can be like laying all over in little plops, like this plop of this, little plop of flour, little plop of sugar, little plop of vegan coconut oil or butter, vegan butter, something like that. You have little plops of things, but until you mix them all up and they change form, they're not going to make your end result of cake. They need to go through a mixing. They need to go through like an ego death. Like no longer is that flour and sugar and vegan butter. It becomes something that is cake, and it's through a loss of this individual thing that we form this awareness of a new thing. So this is all very 8th house Scorpio, and I know you're all in your shaman vibes if you're a high vibe Scorpio watching this. So it's really about you kind of like really engaging more at your level with what you know you're going to need to deal with that is changing. And you could find you get some investments at this time, Scorpio. You might be getting other people's money in the door to do something with at this time. So to any Scorpios doing that, congratulations. Congratulations. So I think that's what you can expect. And you're going to be very brainy, Scorpio, about how you do that because it is in Gemini. And you're going to be feeling like you have exactly the brain for it. So be on the lookout, Scorpio. If you have any stories, let me know. I always love hearing stories. All right, that brings us to Sagittarius. If you're a Sagittarius, this is your 7th house. You're going to be activated and motivated in relationships, baby. This is going to be a really interesting time for you, Sag. You're going to be more motivated around relationships you already have. You might be motivated to find a relationship if you don't know. If you're like, where's my next relationship coming from, and you want to be in one, you're going to be more motivated to find one. If you are in a relationship already, Sagittarius, you could find aggression coming up in the relationship that could be coming from the partner or you towards the partner. It can go either way. It could also just be feeling more motivated within your partnerships or even more passionate within your partnership. And this could be a business partnership as well, because 7th house can mean all that, but it's also, of course, your first significant life partner and partnerships in general throughout life. So with a Mars in the 7th house, Sagittarius, you're going to be really motivated to engage with people in your life, and probably at a cranial level because it's Gemini that we're talking about, and probably around skill building and craft building. You might find if you have an existing partner, Sag, that you're going to find like more bonding if you go and do something with your hands, like go spin some clay with your partner, go like build something with your partner. These are all really good ways to use the Mars and Gemini energy in the 7th house. So that's something to think about. And also, like I say, you're going to be thinking more deeply about like just things in general. So small talk with partners is going to be huge over the next couple months. You're just going to be everywhere you go, all your friends, anybody you know, you're just going to be talk. And it's likely to be casual talk or like chatty talk. You're just going to feel more chatty in relationships, Sag, because Gemini is not like the deepest sign in the world, but it's very chatty and is also very skillful. So you could be really joining people at this very like shallow but pleasant chatty level, but just as much you could be solving deeper underlying problems because Gemini is one of the signs of solutionism. So if that's a word. It is now. So that's what I got for you, Sagittarius. Make sure you get on that call list if you want to talk about my astrology course and learn it once and for all for yourself. If you are a Capricorn, ascendant, sun, or moon, then this is your portion. Capricorn, with this, I think this whole Mars and Gemini thing for you, it's in the 6th house. So you're either learning really hard lessons about health and how you're harming your own health through your actions. Mars can be impulsive and angsty and quick to act and painful, pain inducing. So don't make bad choices about health, Capricorn. It could actually result in seriously bad stuff. And with the 6th house association, it's something you put upon yourself through allowing yourself to become enslaved to something. And so Mars in the 6th is all about where is it that I can break out of being enslaved to a not so good thing? Because the 6th house is this idea of being enslaved. And if you think about it from the perspective of bad habits, that's exactly what a bad habit is. So I encourage you all Capricorns out there watching this to make sure that your energy is directed towards how to be healthier and use things like nutrition to be healthier and better versus getting caught up in just working a whole lot and ignoring your health, and then it comes out to be like a bad health ramification because you didn't make any time for your health. This is the time, Capricorn, to make sure that you is making time for your health. Okay, if you are a Capricorn out there and you know what I'm talking about, pay attention, because over the next couple months you're going to get a big check when Mars transits over the North Node there in Gemini, and it's going to be like, wake up, or have you been doing on this spiritual task? How you been doing on this North Node point? Are you coming into your Gemini constructive problem solver, or are you using this 6th house association to thwart yourself and to imprison yourself to a substance, or imprison yourself to an experience that is not serving you? That's really what's going to be coming up. But you're going to be motivated at work though, Capricorn. And Gemini is all about socializing. So you're going to be very busy and social with people in work environments over the next couple weeks. Before you leave, Capricorn, if you're looking to get hardcore serious about astrology and learn it once and for all, check out my link to my class down below and book a session with me to discuss more details. Moving on to Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius, ascendant, sun, and moon, then this is for you. Aquarius, Mars is going to be moving into your 5th house. Well, ain't that lovely? Why is that so lovely? It's lovely because the 5th house is a happy house. The 5th house is a creation house. It's the house of anything you create, whether that's a plan of action, something to produce, something out there in the world, or whether that's children because you created those children. The 5th house is also romance and pleasure and hobbies that you enjoy doing. So the 5th house is like a fun house, So you got Mars activating that fun house for the next 2 months. That's going to be pretty epic. That's pretty cool. I think that that's like something to celebrate. And, it's going to bring you more happiness through fun and fun. It's going to bring you in general, okay, Aquarius, more fun, because Gemini is already a pretty darn fun energy, and you add Mars, the action planet, to that fun, and you put all that in the context of the 5th house. That's all about how you enjoy yourself, how you have fun, how you experience pleasure. And it can be shallow, but it can just be straight up fun, and who cares? That's kind of the 5th house vibe. So if you're not trying to have like a hardcore fling, just be aware fling energy is definitely in the air. If you are trying to have a fling, congratulations. It's probably a really good time to be having a fling. Just be careful when Mars is transiting the North Node not to do anything that would, be, I'm always saying, hey, safe sex. But I would just say with Mars traveling the North Node, be extra careful about ramifications from things that you choose. Ramifications of actions is really big over the next 2 months because Mars is activating this North Node point, okay? So just be on the lookout for that, Aquarius. And generally, Aquarius, I think this is just going to be a lot of activation and motivation for you to get more involved in your passion projects, more involved in what you're pursuing. That's really the name of this game. That's what I see happening in the chart for y'all. Aquarius, if you're trying to learn astrology once and for all for yourself, for real, you can join my astrology school. But before you join, we need to have a little talk to make sure we are compatible. So the link for that is down in the description box, Aquarius. Do not delay. Enrollment is only going on a few more weeks. Now, moving right on to Pisces. If you are a Pisces ascendant, sun, and moon, could you imagine being a Pisces with Venus on the ascendant? How interesting would that be? It'd probably be really pretty and interestingly like escapist, whimsical. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna go into what this is like for you now. So Pisces, this is your fourth house. Gemini is your fourth house, and Mars is transiting there now. So if you're a Pisces, there's some deep changes that are happening in where you came from, your inherited legacy, not the one you're building, the one that came before you, and the one that you grew up in. That's the fourth house. So where did you grow up? What kind of circumstances did you grow up in? All of that's going to be revisited right now, Pisces, because Mars is the planet of action, and Mars is transiting that house of all those things that I just said. So if you put that all together, it's going to say, hey, you know what? There's a lot of busyness around this fourth house of home, in my home, because this is the sign of siblings and kin and cousins and neighbors. So there's going to be some busyness in that home environment for sure. However, Mars is going to be giving you a boost to actually build relationships with those people, to build skill relationships with those people, to build skill sets. Okay. And with that too, I think that you're going to find that home environment becomes really important for you to kind of redefine right now, because Mars is the planet of action, Pisces, and it's in your fourth house of home. And you just, that means there's like more energy for you to deal with the home. So I encourage you to be contemplating and thinking about that. Granted, if you're a Pisces, you just probably already go with the flow and it's just what it needs to be perfect anyway, but in certain ways. Okay. So Pisces, before you do jump on out of here, if you're trying to learn astrology for real, you can check out my astrology school link down below. And I encourage you to join us if that is something that resonates. Okay, awesome. So if you are an Aries, ascendant, sun, and moon, this is for you. Aries, ascendant, sun, and moon people, this Mars is finishing being your second house. It was just in your first house, hardly long at all ago. And now Mars is all the way over to your third house. So has it been activating you with your money making, or has it just caused you more of an awareness around your finances? But whatever, it doesn't matter, because now we're into the third house. So the third house is asking you, it's like, hey, Mars in the third house. Aries, could you speak up? Could you just speak up for whatever it is you're trying to say, Aries? I need you to speak up. Because Mars is transiting the third house of what? None other than communication. So speed up in being expressive, speed up in sharing yourself with the world and explaining where you're coming from, and say whatever you feel you really need to say. Don't hold things back so much right now, Aries. That would be my suggestion. And yeah, there's going to be some degree of tension underlying everything, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because over the next 8 weeks, you can have that potential, that opportunity to really bring in this sense of having a voice and communicating. Also, the third house is the house of business. So if you do have a small business, or you're looking to build a small business, you could totes be starting that under the next 8 weeks, the next 2 months. Okay. So Aries, I think you're speaking your mind. You're speaking up for yourself and your small business. If you have one, you're entrepreneurializing big time, Aries, if you have one. And that's about all I got to say on that. But before you click out of your Aries, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and that you also check out my astrology school link. Okay, if you're a Taurus, then wowza, this Mars is entering your second house of money, of finance, of capital, of what you belong to, what belongs to you rather. And so the second house is also super duper 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 close family, people you feel like are just you, an extension of you, if that makes sense. So I think that we should be aware of that, Taurus. If you have Mars entering that second house, it's like, oh, all of my Taurean things that I embody, but really though, do I embody them? Do I? Because that's where this next lunation cycle is taking us. It's asking you as a Taurus to get serious about how do you embody? How do you produce? Because Mars is the planet of communication and also skill. So in the third house of small business, you're going to be growing skills related to small business. Okay, Okay. I just conflated Aries and Taurus. I'm sorry. I'm really, really tired. That I don't know why I talked about the third house. The second house is going to be money. Everything I said before that was totally accurate though. So the second house is all about finance and what you possess. So you're going to be motivated if you are a Taurus to gain more and to grow what you possess more. And also if you have anything that is about you're considering investing in something, just remember what it is that you do possess at the end of the day, and definitely think about how you're managing that. And you'll be called to manage that, Taurus, because basically Gemini is a brainy and second house is your money. So this is part of maybe why Tauruses are good at financial management, because they have Gemini on their second house. So they know how to think Gemini about money, second house. So there's just that consideration for you if you are a Taurus ascendant, sun, or moon. Also, anything that you do have that you that belongs to you, you might just find yourself cherishing it more or thinking about how you can use it for general betterment. Okay, Taurus. Okay. Now, if you are a Gemini, ascendant, sun, and moon, then Gemini, you are going to be experiencing this in your first house. So Gemini people are going to be feeling energized. Congratulations. You're going to be feeling like more energized, Gemini, like you have more of an awareness, more of a light, more of a sense of well-being in relationship to the concept of energy. Now, I say in relationship to the concept of energy because Mars is a malefic, and so you might feel extra motivated, Gemini. You might feel extra charged up, but Mars at the end of the day is still a malefic. So Mars cuts, severs. It's not a super cozy. Oh, I got a blanket and a cup of tea kind of energy. Nah. If that's what you're looking for, good luck. It ain't here over the next 2 months. At least in the Mars. I'm only reading Mars today. So there's always ways to access that energy. I don't want to make it feel like that's cut off for real, but just a consideration. And I do think that you'll have more motivation to be strategic, and you'll have more of a gift to strategize, Gemini, over the next 2 months, because it's in the first house and it's therefore everything involving you. So that is what I have to say to you, Gemini. Before you dip out of here, if you are trying to learn astrology once and for all, make sure you schedule a call with me, Gemini, so that we can talk about how you might join our astrology school and learn this for yourself. If you are a Cancer, ascendant, sun, and moon, this is your forecast for the Mars transiting through the sign of Gemini transit. So this is going to be in your 12th house, Cancer. Cancers in particular could be feeling really tired. You could be feeling really lethargic. You could just be feeling like you need to be alone more than usual. You need your space more than usual. You need to be isolated more than usual. And maybe like you need to think more deeply about anything that you do think about when you are alone. Maybe you just need more alone time to process the things that you tend to process when you are alone. So you're going to be motivated to retreat. You're going to be motivated to sleep. If you are a Cancer, ascendant, sun, and moon, you're probably going to be tired unless you got something else really personal going on in the sign of Gemini, because a lot of times Cancer people will have Mercury in Gemini, for example. Unless you have something really strong like that, I would just say be aware, Cancer. It's more of a mellow, low-key kind of 8 weeks in many ways. And I don't want to like sound like a bummer, because there's great things that can come from that. And you might just be more mentally active. You might not necessarily get more tired. You might just find that you're more mentally active. Like you just have, excuse me, more to give of your mental variety. Okay, moving on to Cancers. If you want to learn astrology once and for all, don't delay. Make sure you schedule that call with me today. Shoot. Teaching astrology to you if you're there to learn. All right. Moving on to Leo. Leo, ascendant, sun, and moon people, this is for you. If you are a Leo being like, what is going on with my chart for the next 8 weeks? Tonia, tell me. Here we are. I'm telling you, Leo. Leo, this is in your 11th house. So you have an activation of your networks, and you're going to be brainier and more communicative about how you approach those networks and how you organize those networks. Leos are all about their networks anyway, though. You naturally have a really strong networking house because Gemini is your 11th house by whole sign. So you're just going to be more connected with people in a larger sense, more readily and easily than, other times than typical. So it's like an already good thing got better, is how I see it working out for Leos. Also, Leos, the 11th house is a joyful house, and it has to do with our true dreams, our true aspirations, what we're actually really truly striving toward at the end of the day that will actually bring us happiness. And for that, Leo, I think that you're going to see a lot of that is coming to your consciousness right now. You're going to be thinking about and articulating very specifically what those dreams are. What are those dreams for you? You're going to be articulating them very, very well over the next 2 months, and it's just going to be natural. You're just going to feel motivated to really put some energy into describing and defining, even if it's something that just happens in your conversations with friends. It's still a process that's happening for the next 2 months. It might not be a big project you take on, but it's going to be a communication led, network conversation led kind of awareness moment. That's how I'm reading this for you, Leo. Leo, if you're trying to learn astrology once and for all, make sure you schedule a call with me today so that we could talk about how you might join the WizdomDropz astrology school. All right, moving on to Virgo. Virgo, this is going to be happening in your 10th house. And when you have Mars in the 10th house, you're definitely on a hustle to create your legacy. You're on a hustle to create whatever it is that will be left here by the time that you are gone, if you know what I mean. So the 10th house is what your legacy is. It's what you grow into throughout the fullness of your lifetime. And it's how people, publicly see you at the end of the day. And you have the North Node there right now, Virgo. So you're motivated right now anyway for like the next year or so to get even more serious about defining what some of that legacy stuff really is for you. And not only defining, because Gemini is not just like this abstract, I'm going to define it. No, Gemini is the active pursuant, the active application of these concepts. And you're a Virgo, you're very crafted, craft-oriented, skillful person. I've never met a Virgo that didn't have a strong craft of some form. And so if you're a Virgo ascendant, sun, or moon, then the Mars is going to be activating your legacy to build your whole life, to build your whole thing, your whole empire, really your whole legacy on what you are leaving behind in the world when you are gone. So you're getting clear on your career. You might be going through also, don't be surprised, Virgo, if you know that there's a job that you're at that's not in true alignment. This could very well be a time you lose a job with Mars transiting the 10th. Because an employer might decide to sever, as Mars has been known to do, or cut you from the situation. And if that does happen, if you're a Virgo ascendant, sun, and moon, don't worry, because everything happens for a reason. And Mars is also activating the 10th house of career. So it's all part of this like journey for your career experience, if that makes any sense. So don't worry, and you have the energy to put into getting a new thing, if that should be what happens. It's all part of becoming more true and authentic to what it is you're actually building in the long term, Virgo. Virgo, if you are trying to learn astrology once and for all, you can book a call with me today discussing how you might join our WizdomDropz astrology school. It is a totally groovy program. So everybody who watches all these and likes them and comments, thank you so much. You literally rock and roll. I appreciate you. And it helps the channel grow and get this information out to other students just like yourself. So make sure that you hit that like button. Thank you so much. And with that said, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.